I'm going to call the meeting to order. If we stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I just want to make mention of the fact that Commissioner Shibakula is on the phone. Actually, he's in that little gadget there.
He lost a lot of weight during the pandemic.
So he'll be joining us that way. I want to, public notice first, Madam Secretary.
Adequate public notice has been given pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice has been posted at the board's office and website, emailed to the Department of State, and to newspapers of broad circulation within the state.
Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Holden?
Here.
Commissioner Solomon?
Here.
Commissioner Shivakula?
Here.
Commissioner Gordon?
Here.
President Ferguson.
Here. And our next regularly scheduled meeting, Ada?
Our next regular board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, July 14, 10 a.m. via teleconference with details to follow.
Thank you. There will be no executive session today. But before we get going here, this is our inaugural meeting in our new boardroom. And it means certainly that we don't have to depend on anyone else to have our meetings. And our meetings will be here. And those of you who have been around as long as I have, remember we used to have our own boardroom. It was a little larger than this, but it not quite as nice as this. So we're really very pleased, very happy. This was one of my priorities when I became president of the board, to have our own boardroom. Also, one of my priorities is to ensure the fact that at some point, all of our divisions will be in this building. And that's where we're moving right now. I have a couple of thank yous here regarding this boardroom. It took a team effort to get us to where we are today. And I want to thank our Director of Administration, Kenyatta Nobles, for his fine work. I want to thank Taryn Boland for her fine work as far as this boardroom is concerned, and Lenny Gilbert, who put in a lot of hours to make this a reality. So thank you very much. Job well done. I also want to, with a mixed heart, publicly announce that our Executive Director, Paul Flanagan, will be retiring today. Today is Paul's last board meeting, and his last day at the DPU as our Executive Director. Paul has spent many years, serving the citizens of the state of New Jersey, whether here at the board or at Rate Council. He has contributed the majority of his professional career to serve the citizens of New Jersey. I know I'm speaking for all of my colleagues when I say that we will miss Paul's counsel. He is always the even-keeled person, always giving good advice in a very calm manner. And we're going to miss that. We're going to miss his institutional knowledge that most of us don't have. I'm getting there though with how long I've been here. But we're going to miss Paul the person. One of the most honorable people I have ever met in my life. A man who tells you like it is, lays the facts on the table, gives his advice, and then whatever's decided, he goes along with. Because that's how it's supposed to work. So, Paul, personally, I will miss you. I know you're going to spend a lot of time in California. As a matter of fact, if you don't mind, I'm going to mention the fact that Paul and his wife, beginning of July, are going to drive cross country. And Trish's wife indicated to me that she's gonna leave him on some mountaintop, but she didn't say which one, Paul, so it's gonna be a surprise for you. And their ultimate destination is gonna be at his son's house in Southern California. And they're gonna spend some time there since his son and his daughter-in-law are expecting twins. And they already have 3 children, right?
Yes.
So their family's almost doubling, and which is a necessity to have some hope there. So, Paul, I know you're gonna be a great grandfather, and I hope you haven't forgotten how to change diapers. I think it's gonna be something that if you have, you're gonna get right back into it. But job well done, Paul.
Thank you.
And it is something that, as I said, I say this with a mixed heart because I'm happy for you, and I know we all express to you a long, long and healthy retirement, and one that you and your wife enjoy along with your family.
Thank you.
Any of my colleagues want to make any mention? Or we have a resolution here for Paul, why don't we do that? And it's your typical resolution, I'm not going to read it all. But the last paragraph to this resolution is, therefore, the Board of Public Utilities hereby resolves to recognize Paul E. Flanagan, I never knew what the E stood for.
Edward.
Who will retire from state service on July 1, 2021. For the past accomplishments, hereby commends Paul E. Flanagan for his sustainable contributions to this board and to the citizens of the state of New Jersey, and by the affixed signatures, hereby offers our collective best wishes for a long and happy retirement. Paul, sorry, we can take a picture. Would you come up here? Come on, you should be in the center. Did you ask for it? It's on your glasses.
I like the way mine always get caught in the
You see, when you retire.
Should have brought my wife with me.
That's right. We're over there.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Great.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I would also like to announce the fact that the executive director position is extremely important, as you well know, and really is the conduit to our utilities and to many of our divisions here in the board. Therefore, I am announcing the fact that Bob Brapston will assume the position of executive secretary. And what did I say?
Secretary.
I've been a secretary.
How's your shorthand?
You're looking at Ada.
I'm looking at Ada, that's why I said secretary, thank you.
I built you up.
Thank you, you were, as an executive director. And Bob knows that he has big shoes to fill. And we feel that, Bob, you can rise up to that occasion and continue to lead us in a direction that maintains and enhances the reach of the Board of Public Utilities. The things that we have accomplished over the past 3.5 years is astounding. And it's astounding for many, many reasons, whether we're talking about offshore wind, whether we're talking about solar, whether we're talking about having a new boardroom, whether we're talking about a lot of things. The accomplishments have been tremendous. And it's all because of the actions of this board up here and the actions and dedication of our staff. And I can't thank you enough for all that you have done. We even have staff who are on maternity leave and come back with, what's her name?
His name.
His name.
Orson.
There you go. Welcome to his first board meeting. I've always had trouble determining the gender of people. So, we're just thrilled to be here. And I want to congratulate Bob, and we look forward to many, many good things. Also, on Saturday, it's Commissioner Gordon's birthday, and we wish him a happy birthday, Commissioner. And I understand you'll be old enough to drink legally there.
I'm getting my learner's permit.
Okay, good. Moratorium on utility shutoffs ends tomorrow. Today's the last day. And as you all know, there will be a 6-month grace period for people to get their finances in order and people to make arrangements with their utilities to set up a payment plan or to apply for the many assistance programs that are available in the state of New Jersey. I encourage anyone who is in that position to either apply for assistance or contact your utility and set up a payment plan. You have 6 months to do it. And that was something that we all here at the state wanted to do. After a year and a half, give people a window, an opportunity to get their finances in line. So please, take advantage of this. Do any of my colleagues have anything they would like to say? Yes?
Well, I want to thank you for your service here at the board. I know the E may stand for Edward, but I think it stands for easygoing. And it's always been, when I'm at the breaking point of anger, you're very calm and you turn to whoever you're trying to mediate and say, I think what the commissioner is trying to say. In other words, listen to what the commissioner has to say and let's do it. So Bob, take that point with you and your new endeavor. No, it's just been great working with you, and your knowledge, your depth of knowledge, your insight into the vagaries of rate council as well has been very helpful to all of us. So thank you, and boy, enjoy that trip.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I also wanted to wish you well, especially on that journey out to the West Coast. Good luck to you and to the family. I'm one of 5, so, no problem. After 2, you go from man to man to a zone, just tell them that. It's not really a problem. Basketball player in the day. But you started sort of around the same time. I think you were hired right after I had started here at the board, and were instrumental certainly in bringing me up to speed. And for those of you out there who are new to the board or don't know, Paul was the one that they would send into the room when they wanted to get the deal done, to be the closer, and with the commissioners. And you knew when Paul would come in the room that you were getting the straight deal, that regardless what your question was, you're going to hear it straight, and that's really important. Because there's a lot of competing interests going on, as you may expect, in the information that we have to review and go through. So Paul was always that honest broker, and then the contribution you've made to state services, amazing. So a well-deserved retirement, and I enjoyed the trip. I'm sure it'll be different from your first cross-country trip when you made back in the day, but hopefully staying in some nicer accommodations.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Thanks again.
Thank you. Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Just want to add my thanks, Paul, for your service to the people of New Jersey. Wish you the very best in your retirement, and just point out that after all this time at the BPU, changing diapers should be easy.
Very good point.
You hear that back there? Okay. Paul is your man.
Yeah, Andrea, call upon him. He can train. There is no consent agenda today. We will.
Mr. President, I just want to
Yes, sir.
I just want to wish Paul the very best in his retirement. And I have known him for a long time from the Red Council's office. And he's the pillar of knowledge. And I'm sure he'll enjoy his retirement with fresh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good. All right, let's go on to the regular agenda, and really it focuses around one thing. Jim Ferris, do you want to kick us off here?
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, Mr. President, Commissioners. The matter before you today are staff's recommendations regarding the board's second solicitation for offshore wind projects and the designation of qualified offshore wind facilities to receive offshore wind renewable energy certificates, or ORECs. Developing New Jersey's offshore wind resources is a core strategy of Governor Murphy's clean energy agenda. Governor Murphy set forth an ambitious goal of reaching 100% clean energy by 2050 and augmented the original goal of 3,500 megawatts of offshore wind by 2030 to 7,500 megawatts of offshore wind by 2035 to ensure New Jersey meets the state's goals of 50% renewable energy by 2030, in addition to creating a significant number of good-paying jobs. Staff recommendations before you today reinforce Governor Murphy's goals and furthers New Jersey's leadership in the fight against climate change, which is an imminent threat to New Jersey's economy and the health, safety, and welfare of New Jersey's residents. Additionally, staff's recommendations will advance visionary policy and innovative programs while continuing to improve the quality of energy service while mitigating costs and ensuring that energy is affordable and accessible for all residents of the state. Staff's recommendations will also ensure that New Jersey's natural resources, including fish, marine mammals, birds, and other wildlife, are protected and will provide valuable employment and economic benefits to New Jersey residents. New Jersey's commitment to protect our natural resources and significant cultural and tourism economies is of the utmost importance. New Jersey enjoys a geographic location and ocean wind profile well suited to the development of a robust offshore wind program. The work of harnessing the ocean wind must be done through responsibly developed and sited wind farms. New Jersey remains committed to ensuring that natural resources, including fish, marine mammals, birds, and other wildlife, are protected throughout the development and operation of current and future wind projects. Through this second solicitation award, we will have new resources to collect and share valuable data to inform future development and to protect the natural resources that comprise a critical part of New Jersey's rich tapestry of biological diversity. By way of a brief background, on September 9th, 2020, the board opened the second solicitation application window, seeking to secure ORECs targeting 1,200 to 2,400 megawatts of offshore wind capacity. At the close of the application window on December 10th, 2020, applications were received from two developers. Atlantic Shores Offshore Wind Project 1, LLC, a joint venture between EDFRE Offshore Development, LLC, and Shell New Energies US, LLC. Hereafter, I will refer to this applicant as Atlantic Shores. And Ocean Wind 2, LLC, a direct 100% subsidiary of Ørsted Offshore North America, Inc., and an indirect 100% subsidiary of Ørsted AS. Hereafter, I will refer to this applicant as Ocean Wind 2. Applications were evaluated against multiple factors set forth in the Offshore Wind Economic Development Act and the rules at NJAC 14:8 et sec. These factors are OREC purchase price, ratepayer impact, environmental and fisheries impact, economic impact, the strength of guarantees for economic impact, and the likelihood of successful commercial operation. In this second solicitation, staff weighted these factors as follows. OREC purchase price and ratepayer impact, 50%. Environmental and fisheries impact, 20%. Economic impact and strength of guarantees for economic impact, 20%. And likelihood of successful commercial operation, 10%. Additionally, staff identified the following additional elements for consideration. Diversification of the risk of successful project completion, providing economic benefits to more communities around different ports and manufacturing facilities, diversification in all tiers of the supply chain, incorporation of alternative construction methods and/or technology selection, and heightening the prospect of more robust competition in subsequent procurement rounds through diversity in selected applicants. Staff consulted with other New Jersey agencies for their expertise in specific areas related to offshore wind development, such as the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection on environmental, wildlife, and fisheries impact, the New Jersey Division of Rate Counsel on ratepayer impacts, and the New Jersey Economic Development Authority on certain economic benefits. Board staff and board's consultant, Levitan and Associates, conducted a portfolio analysis to test the potential price, economic benefits, and costs attributable to the selection of a project from each applicant. Staff believes that a portfolio solution with 2 awardees has the potential to position New Jersey favorably to achieve greater manufacturing capability to support both New Jersey's and neighboring states' offshore wind procurement goals, while conferring valuable employment and economic benefits. Today, staff is recommending awards to each applicant for projects that not only offer generation of clean energy to combat climate change, but also provide significant economic benefits in manufacturing and related supply chain developments through the use of New Jersey ports and infrastructure, and commitments to jobs and economic growth that will be enjoyed in New Jersey for decades to come. Both recommended projects meet the eligibility requirements needed to win an award. The recommended projects will result in a total of 2,658 megawatts of offshore wind capacity and will power a total of over 1.15 million homes. These projects will result in a net greenhouse gas emissions reduction of over 5 million short tons annually, which represents approximately 26% of New Jersey's current greenhouse gas emissions from the electricity sector, all while protecting New Jersey's natural resources, wildlife, and fisheries to the fullest extent possible. Combined, these projects will inject an estimated $3.5 billion into New Jersey's economy and are estimated to create approximately 7,000 full or part-time jobs across the development, construction, and operational phases of the projects. This will yield approximately 56,000 full-time equivalent job years, as some jobs will be shorter term and others will last for many years. These projects will both utilize the foundation manufacturing facility at the Port of Paulsboro, will both establish manufacturing facilities at the New Jersey Wind Port, and will both utilize the New Jersey Wind Port for marshaling activities. In addition, the diversity in offshore wind developers will create robust competition, which will drive down the cost of future solicitations. The diversity in economic benefits, including supply chain, port utilization, and support services, will provide benefits to a broader range of New Jersey residents than any single award. Moreover, the specific economic benefits associated with the recommended projects will further position New Jersey as an offshore wind hub for all projects along the Atlantic coast. Through the research and monitoring fee charged to each developer, New Jersey will have over $26 million in new resources for research initiatives and the regional monitoring of wildlife and fisheries related to the introduction of offshore wind projects. In addition, the developers will work with board staff and the NJDEP to identify and implement best practices for the avoidance, minimization, and mitigation of adverse impacts throughout the life of the projects. Now I will discuss each project in detail. The first project is the Atlantic Shores 1,509.6 megawatt project and is designated as Project C in Atlantic Shores application. The project is located in the southern portion of the Atlantic Shores lease area, approximately 10.5 miles from shore, and is expected to utilize the 13.6 megawatt turbine manufactured by MHI Vestas. The project is expected to be operational in 2 phases in 2027 and 2028. The first year OREC price is $86.62 per megawatt hour, and the estimated levelized net OREC cost after project revenues are returned to ratepayers is $58.81 per megawatt hour. The project includes commitments to use the foundation manufacturing facility at the Port of Paulsboro and commitments to establish a nacelle assembly facility in collaboration with MHI Vestas at the New Jersey Windport. The project also includes a green hydrogen pilot facility. Direct, indirect, and induced economic benefits will inject an estimated $1.869 billion into the New Jersey economy. Staff recommends that the board approve the Atlantic Shores 1,509.6 megawatt project as a qualified offshore wind facility.
I'll move it.
Second.
Questions, comments for Jim at this point? Or we can wait until after the second vote? Okay, Jim? Roll call?
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
President Fiordaliso.
Yes.
The second project is the Ocean Wind 2 1,148 megawatt project, which is designated as Project B in Ocean Wind's application. The project is located adjacent to the Ocean Wind 1 project, approximately 13.8 miles from shore, and is expected to utilize the 14 megawatt turbine manufactured by General Electric. The project is expected to be operational in 3 phases in 2028 and 2029. The first year OREC price is $84.03 per megawatt hour, and the estimated levelized net OREC cost after project revenues are returned to ratepayers is $42.30 per megawatt hour. The project includes commitments to use the foundation manufacturing facility at the Port of Paulsboro and includes a commitment to provide funding to complete the development of that facility. The project also includes commitments to establish a nacelle assembly facility in collaboration with General Electric at the New Jersey Windport and commitments to conduct marshalling activities from the New Jersey Windport. The project also includes a truck electrification pilot project at Port Newark, intended to reduce emissions impacting communities around the port. Direct, indirect, and induced economic benefits will inject an estimated $1.657 billion into the New Jersey economy. Staff recommends that the board approve the Ocean Wind 2 1,148 megawatt Project B as a qualified offshore wind facility.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I would just like to commend Jim and all the BPU staff who were involved in the analysis and evaluation effort. I think that our team did just a fabulous job. There were a lot of moving parts to keep track of, and I think you did it just admirably, and I really appreciate the briefings that were provided to the board commissioners so we could stay on top of the decision-making process and offer our thoughts. So congratulations on a job really well done. I would also like to just make some brief comments. With the actions we take today, this board is sending a very clear message. New Jersey, under the leadership of Governor Murphy, is making a long-term commitment to offshore wind. While our prime motivation is to address climate change and protect a state more vulnerable than most, let there be no mistake. The Murphy administration wants New Jersey to become the hub of the U.S. offshore wind industry. We want to build the regional supply chain here in New Jersey. We want to foster innovation and competition. We want to build a whole new industry and the jobs and the economic opportunity that come with it. We have already laid the groundwork for this vision. As noted, a wind port designed to support the fabrication and build out of turbines is being developed on the Delaware Bay. A factory to produce foundations and other components is being established in Paulsboro. A wind institute will coordinate education, research, innovation, and workforce training. With the launch of the Ocean Wind 2 and Atlantic Shores projects, we take another major step toward achieving our goals. We estimate, as recently noted, that these two projects will inject more than $3.5 billion into the New Jersey economy over their operational life and create thousands of new jobs. In addition, each of the developers will contribute to the development of the supply chain by establishing component assembly plants, as well as operations and maintenance facilities. And throughout our analysis, we have been keenly sensitive to ratepayer impact. We believe the projects selected are cost effective. It is said that history repeats itself. In this case, I hope so. In 1778, Alexander Hamilton came upon the Great Falls of the Passaic River and envisioned harnessing water power to create an industrial city. A short time later, as the first Secretary of the Treasury, he brought those ideas to fruition when he created the first factories in America, in Paterson. Before long, New Jersey became an industrial engine for America. Today, nearly 2.5 centuries later, we look not to surging water, but to other New Jersey natural resources, namely our powerful offshore wind and shallow waters of the continental shelf. I'm confident that we can harness these resources just as effectively and lead the revolution in clean energy. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for Jim? Yes.
I'm going to steal Diane Solomon's sports analogy. I'm going to use football because when Kelly took the ball and handed it off to Jim Ferris, he really led us and put a whole good team together with people who are going to block for him, like Kira and Ben and Anthony. And then it took Andrea and Heather working with the Deputy Attorneys General to really bring the ball over the line. Of course, we do have a field goal kicker out there, and that's Joe DeLosa. No pressure on transmission. Just saying. I would say awesome job, but I'm trying not to use the word awesome anymore, so I'm trying to find out a different word like splendid, glorious, dope, or inspirational. It really has been inspirational because You've given us access to the playbook, so we knew what the options were. We just didn't know the play you were going to call, and you really brought it home. The governor, as Commissioner Gordon has set some really aggressive goals for us, and I hope he realizes that it's the leadership. I'm going to embarrass the birthday boy, President Fiordaliso, your leadership working with the VPU staffers to really bring this home. We are the department that delivers, an agency of all the agencies. What we're doing is not only aggressive clean energy wise, it's transformative. What we're doing for jobs, the economy, the supply chain, for clean energy alone, competition. That's what I really liked about awarding these 2 contracts. And it'll make people work for what they say they're promising. We're going to make sure they're going to deliver, and it's kind of fun to work one off the other. And I know one item that Commissioner Solomon always drives home is workforce development. So both projects are particularly supporting of environmental justice, minority business, women business, veteran-owned business, and the possibility of small business creation that can come out of this. There really are no limits to what we've started here today. Actually started with the first solicitation, but I think this one is far more exciting. The environmental attributes that you outlined today, Jim, are really should send a message to people who are complaining that we haven't done our due diligence. I think of all the states, we've been working on this for 10 years, doing our due diligence, and I think we're delivering a really great project for the people of the state of New Jersey. So thank you again for your work.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Evander, do you want to say anything?
Let me see. Yeah, first I had to mute my. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very special day. Starting with OVIDA in 2010, it took a long time. We got the 1100. Now we have the another 2400, 3500. I think it's fantastic that Governor Murphy has really kicked the ball. He's the field goal kicker. He kicked the ball so we can go through the goalpost. And so we are very happy. I'm very happy about the vision coming together for offshore wind.
Thank you.
Of course, I also have comments to add in. It is important that New Jersey look at all sources of clean, renewable energy. Our efforts to date have succeeded by implementing a significant portfolio that includes solar energy at ever-decreasing prices and energy efficiency. Our attempts to incorporate wind energy into that portfolio are appropriate. Unfortunately, wind energy is expensive. It was our hope that this larger solicitation would result in a lower OREC price, but that did not materialize. Maybe on the next one we'll do even better, and hopefully so. The bids do, however, put forth other potential economic benefits for New Jersey that make it a worthwhile pursuit, and we must make sure developers make good on their guarantees, a number of which Jim mentioned in his remarks today. I, along with my fellow commissioners, am excited about the potential of offshore wind, but I caution that we should be mindful of the ever-increasing cost of energy in New Jersey. At our meeting of Mid-Atlantic utility regulators yesterday, during a panel in which President Fiordaliso was a panelist, the audience was polled as to what most concerned them about offshore wind development. The overwhelming response was ratepayer impact. Remember, this nor the prior solicitation include the all-in cost to ratepayers of transmission, Joe, and other infrastructure upgrades. And we have not as yet completed a long-awaited study to assess the cost to ratepayers of implementing all parts of the EMP of which offshore wind is but one component. New Jersey cannot afford to further decrease its tax and ratepayer base by being a cost-prohibitive place to live and do business. But that being said, I certainly will be voting, and have voted now, for this award. And thank you to the staff for their wonderful contributions in briefing the commissioners. Job well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take a vote, and then I have some comments to make, so roll call, please.
The motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
President Fiorelli.
Yes. We have just approved 2 awards. An exciting day for the state of New Jersey. And appropriately doing it in our new boardroom. I'm like a kid on Christmas morning here with this boardroom. I really, I am so excited about it. I mean, it's like, and thank you for mentioning people by name, Mariana, and so on. Because Kelly, under your leadership, the Clean Energy Division has far exceeded any expectations. Jim, I am so happy you and I met at Starbucks. And I said, Jim, what are you doing? You want to keep busy during the day? Well, he never imagined he would be this busy. But fantastic job. And it is only reflective of where Jim Ferris came from, Down Neck, Newark. A lot of good people come from Down Neck, Newark. I won't mention anyone else, but certainly you. Our legal division, what you have done, Abe, Heather, Andrea, that baby hasn't even cried yet. No. The job you guys have done guiding us legally. And our federal and regional bureau under the leadership of Joe DeLosa, which is now going to be assimilated into our legal division. Joe has forgotten more about FERC and PJM than I'll ever want to know, frankly. So good job, Joe. And I can go on and on. Stacy, Energy Division. All divisions had something to do with this. As we sit here today, we have witnessed during this week, across the country, extreme heat weather patterns. Portland, Oregon, 115 degrees. Including not only Portland, Oregon, but right here in the state of New Jersey. It's going up to 98 today. In Naples, Florida, it's only going up to 85. I'm going to fly down to cool off. The weather patterns are beyond imagination, frankly. As I have previously said, when it comes to addressing climate change, doing nothing is not an option. Not an option. We have, and I keep saying it, I think until the day I die, a moral obligation to mitigate the effects of climate change. And under the leadership of Governor Murphy, we are moving New Jersey in the direction where we can mitigate the effects of climate change. Today's awards further the dream many of us dated to dream years ago, or dared to dream years ago, to see offshore wind development off the coast of New Jersey. Next big challenge, once we get those turbines in the water, is getting that energy on shore. Thanks to the governor's vision, we are well on our way to realizing the goal of 100% clean energy. through a whole of government approach. The Board of Public Utilities, who by the way has the best staff in state government, and I would debate that and challenge anyone to say otherwise. We have worked with our sister agencies, DEP, as Jim mentioned, Economic Development Authority, who have all contributed to where we are today. Because it does take a whole government approach. It takes a whole state approach. It takes a whole country approach. It takes a whole world approach to mitigate the effects of climate change. Doing nothing is not an option. Not if we want our children, our grandchildren, and subsequent generations to live on a livable planet. The two projects awarded today are emblematic of the promise of offshore wind and together represent the nation's largest combined award with 2,658 megawatts. Will power over 1 million homes, as Jim said, and with the previous 1,100, which will power 500,000 homes, we are moving toward 1.5 million homes being generated by offshore wind, or energy being generated to 1.5 homes once these turbines are in the water. And for the next 2 years, up until 2028, we will have additional solicitations, so that by 2035, we will have 7,500 megawatts of offshore wind here in the state of New Jersey and create the hub that Jim talked about. New Jersey will become the supply chain for the entire East Coast as far as offshore wind is concerned. We have the tools. This will be the biggest boost to the New Jersey economy ever. And it's all because of the work that has been done at the Board of Public Utilities. We can take pride in what we're achieving here. And that's what keeps me coming back to work every day. Being involved in a revolution, an energy revolution. Whoever thought we would be walking down a path where energy would be generated by things other than oil and coal? When I was a boy, that wasn't even thought about. But that's when Grover Cleveland was president. Both projects have strong environmental protection plans, as Jim indicated, because the environment has to be protected. We don't want to do anything to destroy the environment. We want to preserve it. We want to make it better. I want to thank my colleagues up here for their thoughtful engagement throughout the process and for their continued support of offshore wind. But most of all, I want to thank you. And I've said this more than once. As I said before, you're not only the best staff, but I have a great deal of affection for each and every one of you. Because you know what? You make us look good. You move the state of New Jersey like no other department does. And that's all things you can be proud of. So again, to you, congratulations. We will be going over to a press conference with the governor. And as part of his weekly press conference, we're going to crash the coronavirus press conference and so on, and have a little time to talk about this. where the press will be there, and where this department will get the recognition it deserves. So thank you very much. If there are no other items to discuss, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Congratulations, you did.